Well, the lab, initially created in the 1990s, focused on school-level teaching and learning, and it had a large community of researchers associated with it. The research in the early days was wrapped around externally funded school-based product, and then we were able to obtain large ARC grants to investigate the appropriate research that went with those products. Those products were distributed nationally if they were funded by a national body, and sometimes with some of our research partners. So, for example, some of them were bundled with Apple products throughout the world. The success of the lab was measured in two ways. Firstly, many of the products won national and international awards, and in fact, the lab won every possible national award in this country at the time. And those awards included a British Academy Award and European awards for multimedia. Secondly, many of the researchers that came out of that program then went on to become significant players in teaching and learning across the country, and many of them leaders in teaching and learning centres. Our team were able to win a very large Australian University Teaching Committee Award in 2000 in collaboration with Edith Cowan University. The grant eventually had a significant effect on our research and influenced teaching and learning centres across the country.
It was one of the first projects of its kind to identify exemplary practice in terms of using technology to deliver flexible learning environments in higher education. So for that, a key aspect of the project was a really large evaluation phase where we firstly wanted to define, well, what does exemplary practice look like? And then use that definition to identify examples in higher education. So a key aspect of this project was it was a very large-scale project. It involved an international academic community of more than 140 people. And so that community was involved to identify those examples. And from that, we organised an online space to house those examples so that they could then be looked at and reused by other teaching academics. A groundbreaking part of this research was to document these examples in a consistent way, and that hadn't been done before. And we coined that as learning design. And then there was an extensive amount of research that continued on for a decade and is currently continuing today in that area. So if you like, we were at the cusp of that research. Now the team at UOW have continued with that research. Personally, I've done some research with higher education academics on how they use that learning design representation, and I've found that it enables them to have a language, to be able to talk about their teaching and learning ideas with other colleagues, and so therefore it allows them to share ideas and hopefully enables then other academics to reuse those ideas in their own contexts. Our research enabled us the opportunity to write a handbook on learning design, and so we were involved in editing a large compendium, if you like. It has 43 chapters that synthesised international research in learning design. I think a testament of the impact of the project is that the website that we initially developed more than 12 years ago is still actively used today.
Our research in learning design focuses on teachers' practices. We realized early on that there was a gap in our understanding about how teachers engage in the process of design and what influences their design thinking.
And our idea has always been that we should be trying to better understand the process that we're trying to support and improve.
Our work's been funded by 2 Australian Research Council grants, one set in higher education context and the other in school education. The most recent project is working with teachers to understand what influences their design thinking.
The research is showing that design is actually a really complex process and that context plays a really important part in shaping what teachers do, and that's giving us some clues about how we can support them.
The University of Wollongong has had a long and distinguished history of research and innovation in teaching and learning, and maintains a strong culture of institutional recognition. As researchers and teachers, we have been proud and honoured to make a contribution to this culture.